live struggle legacy. It's a whole movement.
I got you, big baby. I keep the struggle live struggle, live music. Pay attention to how we do it. And so my dog who never made it out. Live struggle, I got you, homie. We break it out, live struggle, live music. Pay attention to how we do it. And so my dog who never made it out. Live struggle, I got you, homie. The things we do when we down on our luck, like a dolphin, anything to get fucked up. What you think? Now we out here trying to get locked up. Desperation brings desperate measures trying to come up.
Okay, here we go. Hey everybody, it's your boy MP, Live Struggle Legacy, and welcome to the Live Struggle Legacy Podcast, Season 3. Now, real quick, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell, drop a comment. If you have a question for our guests, drop it in the comment section, start a conversation. If you're listening on a streaming platform, please make sure you hit that follow button, download, save, rate us. And if you're looking to promote your business, holla at me because we're looking for sponsors. And on that note, I want to make sure to give a big shout out to my childhood homeboy Billy Skinner and Retail Retribution for this fire ass hoodie right here. It's like Florida freezing right now, and this hoodie's keeping me warm. So make sure you go check out my homeboy Billy's page at Retail Retribution on all platforms and check out the merch that he's got on deck. He's putting it on for every city. We come from St. Petersburg, Florida, but Retail Retribution is about putting on every single city in the world, or the little lesser known landmarks, so to speak, and kind of sharing that kind of hood with the world, no matter where your hood is from. So check out Retail Retribution. Really unique, really special brand. Big shout out. Thank you so much, homeboy. Much love, much respect. Now, with no further ado, I have a really incredible, super dope guest in the house tonight. None other than Trenton. He is a Navy veteran. Creative, like multifaceted, creative, just creator. He does music, like all things creative. He is a military veteran advocate, doing really big things, making really special waves in the world with his energy and his presence and his passion and his vision. So much respect for coming on the show today, brother.
Thanks for having me, bro.
It's an honor to have you. Now, real quick, I always like to tell a story about how I know the guest. So this story is kind of funny, right, and kind of dope, right? We don't believe in coincidences on Live Struggle Legacy, and so I just so happen to be scrolling, right, and on social media like we all do, and you know, we always see those people you may know, right? And I'm constantly trying to promote the pod. I'm constantly trying to promote music, right? So I'm constantly trying to network. So if you're watching this, you're one of those people that maybe knows me because I hit add friend or whatever the case. I do that because I'm constantly expanding the network. If we look like that we could potentially be in alignment and we have X amount of mutual friends, right, then I'm gonna connect. I'm gonna reach out, right? So now I saw this image, people you may know, and it was Jaguahh in his. So did I introduce you as Jaguahh yet? I know I said Trenton, but musically, creatively, this brother goes by Jaguahh, right? His spirit animal is Jaguar, right? Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, brother.
Call sign Jaguahh.
Excellent, beautiful. I love that, Jaguahh. So now Jaguahh on his profile picture was dressed in tribal garb in a super dope image with paint and he had a staff and just super dope, and the image felt powerful. And I looked at it, right. And without even clicking, I thought, man, I want to interview this dude. I want to know his story. I want to know more about this person, right? And then I tap the link and I see some music. I'm like, okay, he does music, right? And then the wild thing is, we had a guest on the show, Kaluma. Shout out to Kaluma Audrey, the homie, right? The frequency healer, right? And all around creative, multifaceted creative, right? She asked me during the interview if I knew Jaguahh, and I'm like, I don't know him yet, but we about to know each other, right? And that was like just a few episodes ago. So this is super dope. It all circumvents. And then when she came here to Benton Media Lounge to do a sound healing event for Angel and the Space, right, and a couple other people, she had just told me, oh, I just connected with Jaguahh. We did a photo shoot. We did some cool creative stuff, right? And I told her I'm super excited. I'm about to interview him in a couple weeks. So here we are.
Hey, man.
So that's the story.
Yeah, dude. Super grateful to be here. Thanks for having me, bro.
And thank you for being here. Now I want to get into your story, but I always like to kind of see things from another perspective. Like when I reached out and you saw Live Struggle and what we had cooking. I don't know if Kaluma had told you anything about
a little bit,
us yet, but I just always like to know what your first impression was and how you felt like maybe you were in alignment with Live Struggle and how our platform and story may have resonated with Jaguahh, with Trent.
Dude, absolutely. It's like you said, no coincidences. It's very what my first impression was, raw and authentic expression, and telling storytelling. That's the name of the game. Painting pictures, shaping culture.
Yeah,
I love it, man. And then bringing people on and like letting them share that. That's so beautiful. So it's like right on time with where I'm at in my journey, so it's so aligned, man. So
I'm excited. I'm gonna stop talking now. I've already been talking too much. So I want to get into who is Trenton and how did Trenton become Jaguahh? What's your life struggle? What's your story, man? However deep you want to go, we love stories. Yeah. So share, tell us, bro.
Yeah, man. Well, I would say my military experience. I was 6 years in 2010 to 2016. Navy EOD, that's bomb squad, explosive ordnance disposal. And in that experience, that community, you're turned on all the time, full throttle, like training on all different levels. You have to stay on top of a lot of different areas. There's surface warfare, chemical, biological, nuclear, underwater, and then you gotta stay up on your dive quals, dive supervisor quals, jumping out of planes, your jump master, your roping, like just the list goes on and on, but you're always under the microscope, always being evaluated. So in that experience, it's like coming out of the military, it's full throttle. Like what can I put my energy into? After I got out, it was like, looking for jobs. And honestly, when I got out, I traveled for like year and a half, 2 years. Like I effed off. I was just like, I used my savings. I traveled the world, did amazing experiences.
Yeah. Like
unplugged, so needed. But when I started working again, it was just like such a shock. It was like, what? Like, I'm used to just like that. Like I said, full throttle, and I'm around like type A's. Everybody's that same archetype, just like go-getters. So working other jobs, I would excel. Get into management and then I'd get bored because it'd be like, what's the next thing? So, in my exploration with creativity, the last like 10 years, I've done, performance arts, theater, dance, burlesque shows. I was a stripper for a while. And like just really pushing the envelope, because that's honestly my personality. I love pushing the human condition and seeing, because that's what drew me into getting into the Navy and going bomb squad. It was like, all right, let's do this.
I was going to ask you that. What brought you into the Navy, and like what was life like pre-military?
Pre-military, I was born and raised in central Illinois in the Midwest, and honestly, it was just a ticket out of the Midwest. Like I just needed to get out, and I saw that, and when I went to the recruiter, it was like, since that go-getter energy, it was like, what's that? Like bomb squad, that sounds intense. Like, all right, let's do it. And then I've always had this, if I'm doing something, I'm doing it mentality. So, when I went through boot camp, they give you, after you get out, you go into your A school and your training pipeline, and the pipeline for EOD is about a year. And they give you your uniforms. You get fleet uniforms if you don't make it through, and I threw all those away because it was like, that's not an option. My friends would even be like, what if you don't make it? It's like, that's not an option, dude. Like, that's not happening. And like, I've always carried that through in anything I do. So, even when I received this vision of Jaguahh, That's it. It's my North Star. It's my new mission. It's what I pour that full throttle go-getter energy into, and it allows me to channel that in a healthy way. Like before that, I was substance abuse. It was a mess. Like trying to figure out where to put that that drive, that and I mean, the training I received in even after going through the pipeline, making it through, becoming an EOD tech. Then you go to your command, and then you're doing workups for deployments. In your workups, you're getting pinged out to all these wilds. Dude, I went to the government paid me to go learn how to make meth. And homemade explosive labs, you'd learn how to make explosives.
So you have to know that they explode.
Right?
So you have to know the process,
You have to
right?
know all the precursors. So you walk in a place, you see what's going on. Oh, they're making drugs here. Oh, okay, no, they're making, primary explosives. Oh, this is just, this is a mess. This is nothing.
So you have to learn how to make explosives, make methamphetamines, all these things in order to know how to discover them clearly, right?
Yeah.
So you become an expert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, if you've ever seen the old show MacGyver.
Yeah,
It's
hell
funny.
yeah.
Now it's I feel like in my artistic process, I've noticed, when I set up a shoot, it's all just it's one, and my motto is one take, one shot, go. And it's been that. It's I set it up, and I recognized that one day. I was like, dude, I'm like a artistic MacGyver. It's so cool.
Yeah. So you actually did kind of like it, the job a little bit. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm super grateful for the experience, for the training. It was insane and incredible. Oh my gosh, what
it's a very niche thing.
Yeah,
I've never.
Absolutely. It's so. It was surreal, honestly. It was a wild time, but yeah, so grateful for the experiences because it shaped a lot of who I am now, and a lot of the skill sets it's such a niche thing, and it's hard. It took me a long time to find where to pour that into next, and that was the last 10 years of just I call it the wander. It was a long-winded wander, and I'm always wandering, but yeah, that's how Jaguahh came to being.
So I want to get into where you found where to pour that into in just a moment, but I kind of want to revisit a little bit and just dig a little deeper. So in terms of so you learned all this stuff about, and initially when you said Navy, I'm thinking underwater explosives, right? I used to sell hearing aids, and one of my patients is my homie, bro. He's a veteran. He's in Vietnam, and he was what they called the frogman. I used to call him the frogman, and he was underwater explosives, right? And that's why he had hearing loss. All these bombs going off underwater, right? But that's not what you were doing at all, right? You're talking anything just because it was Navy. It doesn't mean it has to be water related, right?
Right. So the naval explosive ordnance disposal, we did that's the only branch that does underwater munitions and underwater recovery, underwater explosive ordnance disposal.
Okay.
So when you go through the EOD school in Eglin Air Force Base in
bro, you went there?
Yeah, in Destin, Niceville area.
Bro, my dad, that used to be a prison.
Really?
Eglin Air Force Base Federal Prison Camp. My dad served 6 years.
What?
And bro, when I was a little kid, I used to go visit my dad at Eglin, and there's Niceville.
Yeah.
Drive through Niceville. I used to stay at the fucking Comfort Inn
there,
going into Eglin to visit my dad in prison, bro.
Dude, small world.
Yeah. But he was. It's just so weird, because it's on the other side. Yeah. But my bad. Go ahead. I didn't mean
you're
to.
Good. No, at the end, you go through the surface phase of that training school, and then at the end, Navy goes through I think it was a month and a half of underwater. The underwater portion, which was, learning the beaching techniques and diving on training ordnance. Dude, I had some wild dives on, we'd go and you'd use these sonar equipment locating these mines. And then I had one dive where I was the P2, which there's a primary and a secondary diver. P2 is I was managing everything, and he was using the sonar, and he was honed in on the sonar looking for it, and this bull shark started circling us, and he didn't see it, and I kind of squeezed him real gently,
And y'all in your dive gear, pretty much butt naked out
there. Yeah, we're just chilling, and it was dude, there's pointed it out. He's just I've had a lot of shark encounters diving. It's wild.
And he didn't fuck with you.
No.
Those are them like more aggressive breeds too. The ones that you
Yeah.
say you should worry about. But it goes to show you. I grew up in Florida my whole life, bro. Like people don't just get eaten by sharks.
Right.
You know what
right.
I mean? It happens, but it's
Right.
like so few and far between.
Right. Well, and that's so to tap back into Jaguahh. It's like that's the Jaguar spirit. It's like my spirit animal. It's like tapping into that predatory frequency. So
Yeah.
I actually learned, like, played with that diving with sharks on mushrooms, and like
Oh shit!
seeing you like looking the shark in the eye, and then you kind of match the frequency, right? And it's like, and then it's like, oh, gang recognize gang. Like,
I love that because I had a very different experience on mushrooms,
Yeah.
right? So I went swimming and I love to swim at night. You know, I love to swim at night. Nobody ever wants to go with me because they're freaking scared of sharks and shit. But I'm like, look, they feed at dusk. Sunset, when everybody wants to go swimming, that's the most dangerous time to go swimming because that's when they feed.
Yeah.
But 2 o'clock in the morning, they're just chilling.
Yeah.
So you're just chilling with them, right? But I went out late. And I had mushroom, just a micro dose, maybe a little, maybe a medium, but not like a heavy, not like a heroic dose or anything like that. And I'm out there deep where I'm always usually in my comfort zone, feeling good, and all of a sudden, I just started to get paranoid.
Really?
Like to where I love that water. I feel so safe in that water. I did not feel safe in that water. I did not. It was wild, bro. It was like, but maybe I picked up on a frequency. Maybe there was. Something going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, or maybe I was just paranoid.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a thing. It's and that's something that I've played with a lot with, calling in your animal guides and like shamanism. It's like that's a whole thing. It's just matching frequency. It's like call it shamanic shape-shifting as an artist, playing with identity, even like wearing different hats. Doing advocacy work. I'm a speaker. Okay. Put the speaker hat on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a guy, playing music. All right, put that hat on.
I can relate to that a lot, man. Just wearing different hats.
Yeah,
A lot of different modalities.
For real.
But so when did you first start to kind of resonate with this spirit guide, so to speak, or channel this spirit energy?
So I started like instinctually. Well, as a kid, I remember reading about a story, and it was about a shaman. And I remember it was like the shaman goes into the unknown and comes back and brings medicine to the tribe. I thought it was so fascinating. It was just like, man, that's so cool, And it's like, well, that's a cool story, but like I don't live in the Amazon. Like that's not ideal. But then instinctually later on in life, I started. Well, at one point I was out doing training. After I got out, I was a commercial diver for a little bit. When I was doing commercial dive school out in Seattle, Washington, I'd go out in the old forests out there, and like I'd just get lost. I had a dual sport motorcycle. I'd ride it out on the trails, and then I'd ditch the bike and get lost and like really hone into my instincts and expand my awareness and use my senses and like. I started,
the wilderness.
And I started tapping in, and I'd bring a buffalo drum out and start like communicating with nature. And like, for me, that's what my spirituality is rooted in. It's very naturalistic. It's very, shamanistic, with the elements, with nature, with plants, with animals. And
I love that, man. That resonates.
And that goes into my music. Like I feel like because the music that comes through me, it's very genre bending. So it's all shamanic. And it's all, projecting those frequencies, that healing energy. And honestly, when I play, it's all about getting into that ecstasy, because that's the shamanic state. It's like ecstatic dance. When you're in that state, you're emitting, a very powerful healing frequency.
Yeah, absolutely. Through music and dance.
Yeah.
Like the universal language.
For real.
The universal frequency, right?
Yeah.
That's dope, man. Yes. So how long have you been playing music?
So I actually had one of the guys I went through EOD school. Shout out to Sean Taylor, one of my best friends. He introduced me to music when I was 20. And we were living together, or 21 when I was living.
You were already in the military?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've always loved music. I've always loved, getting albums as a kid and listening to all kinds of, being a 90s kid, a lot of grunge and a lot of like metal and some heavier stuff, but like, System of a Down, and like, when I was living with him, I got a keyboard and started messing with that. So that was like 21. And yeah, since then and I've always been more of an explorative. I've never learned music. I've taken some, a couple classes to learn like scales and like, jam with other people to learn, okay, what key are we in? But like, I don't really know music theory. It's more intuitive artists and like exploration. So I like to play all kinds of instruments and try to create new and abstract sounds with them.
That's dope, man. I can see why you and Kaluma cook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh man, I love playing with her. She's a lot of fun.
And it sounds like y'all kind of have a similar process, because she's like, listen, like we don't have to have like some set outcome. We're doing what we feel, and
exactly.
and what spirit drops, that whatever downloads we pick up, we're putting them out, right? And I can respect that, and I love that, and I'm definitely open to that. I look at my process; it's so different. Like I'm so set on not having like a marketable product, so to speak, but I'm very big on having a finished product. Okay. You know what I mean? Like I have to see this through to its, and my thought process is backwards. I usually see the finished product first.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, how do I get there?
Yeah.
Oh, I need this person to do this. I need that person to do that. Or I'm just going to do this and this. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, but that's the beauty of collaborations.
Exactly.
I don't play instruments.
Yeah.
I only have so much range.
Right.
So to collaborate, and then plus I only can operate off of my level of experience. Right. One of my favorite teachers, bro, is this dude Tom Morris. He owned the Morris Sound Studios. He sold his previous studio to Trans-Siberian Orchestra for $1 million. But this dude's super dope, bro. Okay, awesome. You were in the grunge, you said, right?
Yeah.
Do you know 7 Mary 3's Cumbersome?
Yeah.
Bro, he produced that track.
No way.
I got to hear the fucking original demo.
No way.
And it was, I don't want to say it was trash, but it was nothing like what you heard. He brought that song to life.
Really?
I'm pretty sure that was a multi-platinum song.
Wow.
Pretty sure. But he also pioneered the metal scene in Tampa. So metal, I don't know if you know this, but Tampa is notorious for metal. Like, really? I mean, they are, this is like one of the hubs of, especially like the dark metal, like the death metal. Yeah, bro.
Dude,
and it's because of Tom Morris, bro. People would come from all over the world. But anyway, without like telling you Tom Morris's whole life story, I just want to share who he was and how his opinion carried weight with me. I really respect this dude. And he was a chemical engineer, bro. And he loved music so much that he put that aside to be a sound engineer, right? Because he loved music. But he would always tell us in the MIRA program, the Music Industry Recording Arts program at St. Pete College, which is an amazing program. At least it was. I don't know. COVID kind of changed things. I don't want to knock it now. I don't know. But I know they stopped the internship while I was there. That was really disappointing because of COVID, right? And that's the only reason I was in the program, was for the internship. But anyway, Tom Morris said, you can learn all this stuff at home, watching YouTube, and you can be a really great sound engineer, a really great musician, super talented, but you're still only as good as your brain and your experience. And there's just something magical when you get a group of creatives in a space, and then get those contributions from different life experiences, bro. That's how you make incredible things, and then that can pull even more out of you, because you think, now you're inspired by these incredible people and their incredible experiences. You know what I mean? So,
dude, it's so cool you said that, because that's like where I've been, has been diving into what it is that I'm capable of. So I haven't done a lot of collaborations in this last year. And like, that's what I'm calling it now. It's like, okay, I kind of see where I'm capable of. Now it's time to mix it up. And like you said, when you do, you it's like a push-pull. It's a dance. Like, you're like, whoa. And then you make more discoveries. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited. It's like, you're saying, we're connecting for a reason. Like,
absolutely, bro. Yeah, absolutely.
And then you said, Tampa's a hub for metal. That's insane, because it's like, recently that's what's been coming through. It's like, okay, I see what the root is in my musicality. It's
okay, well, you said System of a Down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about. Okay, so I mean, whatever you want to talk about. You started learning the guitar from your friend, and then on the way here we were kind of chopping it up. We had like a whole podcast off camera. But you were talking about the loop system that you use. Yeah. Right? And tell us a little bit about that.
Dude, that thing's nuts. It's the Boss RC505 tabletop. So it's a lot of beatboxers use it, and I do a lot of vocal stuff too. So it's like I like like Radiohead, they do a lot of tonality with the voice, playing with textures and like
filters and shit like that.
and like,
Oh yeah.
and then putting echoes and slicers on it, and so this thing's nuts. It's got so many, I'm still learning. Like it's incredible, but when I the things I've been doing live, it's just been where I've been trying to get to is where I can play live with what I have, and a lot of times I have a guitar, a bass, a couple of percussion things, and my voice, and so my goal is to really like fill the stage with all kinds of things just to get crazy with it, because it's like I have a composer mind I've come to find, and it's like making songs in the moment, and then of course inviting collaborations with that, and adding more tones and texture. Something I've been also playing with is like in the moment getting the crowd involved, so like playing with the crowd as an instrument, getting breath, like making the crowd's breath musical with
and you put it on the loop system.
Yeah.
So real quick, because you and I were probably, to some people we're probably speaking, esoterically, right? So
Yeah.
So for the uninitiated, right? So the loop system is a really cool thing, because let's say he could play like a riff on a guitar and record it and then loop it, so then it repeats over and over again, and then he could put another layer on that, or he could put a vocal on that and loop that, or he could do like a beat and then loop that, so you can build a beat live in real time. Correct me if I'm wrong. With this loop system. So one of my homies actually would do this with shows. And this is somebody else you should link with. Super cool human being. Shout out Luis Garcia, right? He got me some really incredible shows at the Kava bars, man.
Okay.
And I loved those shows because the crowds were real small, super intimate, but bro, these people are locked in. They're really listening. Like, whereas, like, sure, I've done some really incredible shows at dive bars that I've absolutely loved, right? And had a great time. You know what I mean? In downtown, in the nightlife, right? But ultimately, bro, the difference between like a drunk crowd and a kava crowd. Not that I'm trying to sit here and judge anybody for drinking. Right. I have my occasional drink, but there's a difference between a group of people that are like borderline wasted, and then a group of people that are working really hard to be sober and, trying to find fun stuff and healthy things to do, right? But the thing is, like, the biggest difference that I see is, like, that drunk crowd, even if they weren't completely wasted, they were rocking with you, they were dancing, right? But the next day, they didn't remember any of that shit. Right. They didn't remember who you are. They just remember, that one guy, he was dope. But they don't remember him. They didn't follow his music.
A great night.
Yeah, but now on the other hand, I do a kava bar that had only a fraction of the crowd, maybe only a fraction of the energy live. However, I wake up to DMs on social media, bro, like new subscribers on YouTube, like really engagement from the. You know what I mean? Like, these people resonated with my story. People are reaching out to me. Hey, man, I saw your show, at whatever kava bar, and I just want you to know, my, because I tell a story about my homie Tim, a big baby that's on the logo, rest in peace, big homie, the Live Struggle Legacy logo. This podcast is dedicated to him, and he lost his life in prison. And so I would always talk about this in these shows, and then these people would come to me and say, like, my uncle's in Fed, or my friend went through this, or I just really appreciate what you're doing with this positive message. Most people me, but and I'm only saying like this because I connected with that crowd. Like, they connected with me. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I'll do shows for as long as it's positive anywhere for anybody. And again, I'm not discounting the support that I've gotten from those dive bars and from those events, but it's just a little bit different when there's alcohol involved, when people are potentially wasted, compared to a place where you're in this creative space, you're having a good time, people are really there for the music, and they're much more present. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, they're much more engaged.
I like to say they lean in.
They literally lean in.
They lean in.
They lean in. They're holding on to your words. They remember your words. They remember your name. They go look you up later. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And what's really cool about this space, St. Pete, we were talking about this on the way in, is that, like, you never saw so many young, like, and hip people working really, really hard to not only find things to do for themselves that don't involve, drugs and alcohol, but also trying to provide event space and events for people that to go out and have fun and not feel like they have to, use drugs or alcohol. You know what I mean? And I think that's a cool thing, because we don't have to be like straight edge or in a whatever anonymous group to be able to support each other in finding healthy outlets. You know what I mean? Dude, and healthy things to do. And I think music, especially hip hop, just has a stigma for a lot of like toxic and not healthy things being attached to that. But I feel like people like us are proof that, like, listen, man, we may have been through some of these things and we may talk about it in some of our music, but that doesn't mean that we're out here actively promoting like unhealthy things. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, that's it. It's so interesting you're saying that, because it's like I've been very intentional with where I do my thing, because it's like I know that it's, well, I talked about tomorrow I'm doing Canadelic, embodied movement.
Let's talk about
facilitation, and it's like it's very much promoting body awareness and like getting people in their bodies, and and then in doing so, it also, because dance is such a vulnerable act, and like when you're in a sober environment, it's very like, I don't know, a lot of people need a drink to get that liquid courage. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm
like,
guilty of that. I wouldn't dance back in the day, like, unless I had drinks. You know what I mean? I was too stiff. I got to loosen up, right?
Right. So like doing this, called a body scan, body check-in. It's like, it's slow, it's real methodic, it's head to toe, and it gets people like in their body, no judgment, and everybody's doing it together too before, so it's kind of like a warm-up. Like, I want you to dance. I'm encouraging you to dance. I want to see you dance, because for me, playing music is one thing, but playing music and seeing people dance, that's everything. That's everything.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, we're vibing.
Yeah, exactly. You're setting the frequency. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, being intentional with that. So that's another reason why St. Pete and this area. It's like I recognize that too. The kava bars. It's very, very much that spot. Like you can do that because everybody's intentionally looking for a space to be sober and still be social and congregate and have events and like, and I think, with what. And recently with what I've been doing, and it's been a lot of like trial and error, like what is this, how do I want to do this? Because I was doing classes at St. Pete Calisthenics, and I would bring my loop station in and actually do what's called fluid motion.
Yo, that was a class you were teaching? Tell us about that.
Fluid motion. So it's basically what I'll be doing for Canadelic tomorrow. It's embodied movement, and it's more so about, it's kind of a dance class in a fitness space. So it's like, but we do conscious functional patterns. So you're doing like functional kind of like twists in the core, but in time. And I'd have the loop station, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I got people doing 4-step in the feet. And then we add hips. And then I'll throw an 8 count. And then you're doing 8 counts in the shoulders. So you're connecting neural pathways and like dropping into the body. And it's training that body awareness, but doing real basic shit. Like real, and it's like, and I got feedback.
So people can follow you.
It's like a dancey aerobics experience.
Yeah, that sounds super dope.
Yeah.
So like almost like an elevated or like a super conscious Zumba, right?
Yeah, and I and tomorrow that's what I call it basically. It's like a psychedelic aerobics class.
That's dope. Psychedelic aerobics. I like that. Yeah. Bro, so is this a regular thing at St. Pete Calisthenics, or was it just an event that you did?
I was teaching classes, but I pulled away recently. I'm gonna plug back in doing workshops in the future. So I pulled out and was working on my music the last like month and a half, 2 months, and yeah, it's been very much what I talk about ChatGPT, like collaborating with AI. It's been a very helpful tool with like, talking about Jaguahh being my North Star. It's a very vague thing. It's like, okay, I see this artistry, and it's helped me like even be able to communicate it. It's a identity art project. So it's like, I'm walking toward my higher self, and like Jaguahh is my higher self, and so it's formless. And so talking about not necessarily focusing on the outcome, it's the journey. And so having experiences. So yeah, I tapped into the gym, had those experiences. It's like, okay, that is a part of it, but we're getting there. So like, what I see in the future is creating workshops where it's, like a Saturday, couple hours, and you get the whole thing. Because like the 1 hour class, we would just get there. And it's like, we need a little more time. So it's like, I see myself doing events and workshops where I can bridge the movement and the technicality, but also have a good time and play music.
Yeah. And you got to be having a good time and feel good about it, bro. Like that's where I'm at in life right now. Like if I'm not having a good time and feeling good about it, I'm just not fucking doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and don't get me wrong, there's gonna be life. We have the responsibilities and shit, but in the grand scheme,
right.
If I'm pouring energy into something, like it needs to feel good. It needs to resonate.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
The resonance, man. When you have purpose and vision, it's it's a hunt. It's like, does this resonate? No. Okay, moving on.
No, exactly.
It's nothing personal. It's alignment. It's frequency.
Exactly. It's like when two magnets either attract or they start to. Right. They start. You flip the magnet and then it pushes away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so let's talk about the advocacy work that you do. I think that's definitely worth talking about, and I would love to have you share that.
So yeah, just plugging in, just doing veteran events. We actually just got a revamp of the Coffee Kava Social veteran events. It's at Kava bars. This last one was at Lucid Coffee Kava, and yeah, it's like creating a space where promoting sobriety and being able to get together and share stories, but we don't do war stories. We don't focus on the trauma. We focus on growth. We focus on where we're going. And recently, this last one, I took the torch from Boone Cutler. He started the Spartan Pledge, and basically it's an oath for military vets not to take your own life, because suicide's very rampant in the veteran community with that struggle, because it's, like I said, it's a very niche experience. And a lot of guys, I myself isolated for a long time as well. Like, so it's an oath to reach out to another veteran brother or sister when you're having those dark thoughts, having that headspace, and then also looking for a new mission or creating one for yourself to pour into, to again that full throttle energy, send it. And have and then of course when we get together in community, it's building that camaraderie that I know a lot of brother and sister veterans miss in the military, because it was such beautiful synergy, beautiful camaraderie. Like that's something that, man, that's when I think about my military experience, that was it. It's like, dude, you were always like, that's what it's about. It's like you're taking care of the people next to you. So it's like such a cool thing to bring into community, bring these veterans together. But then with these events, it's also bridging connections with small business owners. And then honestly, it's for the community, but it's like veterans are wired for service. So it's like the more of us become conscious, I feel like we're naturally wired for service, natural leaders. So it's like, where do we serve? Come on, let's go. Pour into it.
Man, that's dope, bro. But so, okay, while we got the audience's attention, I want to make sure, because, this podcast is growing. A lot of people see this, and you never know who's watching this.
Yeah.
And I always say this, like I always try to be, very aware of who's watching this and what they might be going through, and what's discussed on here and how it could potentially affect people, right? Because ultimately we want to affect people in a positive way. We want to touch lives. We want to potentially change lives. This podcast was built, to inspire. So that being said, though, at the same time, you are offering a service to people, and people that you could potentially save a life, right?
For sure.
So and I can't tell you how many homies that I've lost over the years, not necessarily veterans, but it's kind of like this, bro. So I did time, and I can relate to a lot of what you're saying, because oddly, service people and convicts that have been incarcerated, it's a similar thing. You're eating at a commissary, you're building this camaraderie with strangers, and then you build this relationship with these people. Like, it's wild how, I was just telling this to somebody else, like, there's at least 5 people that I was away with in all different spots that I could call right now. I could go sleep on their couch if they need you. They could come sleep on mine. If I need a bill paid, you know what I mean? At least 5. You know what I mean? That I could call and they could call me. You know what I mean? I don't need to say their names. They know who they are. You know, but it's like, but it's really more than 5. It's just like 5 I could think of. I could bring them off like that are like speed out. You know what I mean?
Dude,
and it's like, but not everybody has that. But what I'm getting at here is I don't want to lose touch of, because what you're offering, I think is pretty incredible, and I think about the homies that I had, and like to kind of really bring this point home, right? You're doing this mainly for veterans, military veterans, right? But I read this this book when I was away, bro, by a guy named Bo Lozoff. It was called "We're All Doing Time." Right, and it just basically talks about how we're all going, we're all doing time one way or another, bro. You might be doing time at your job. It's like jail, you hate it, but you got to pay these bills. It's like you're doing time, right? Or you might be doing time in like a domestic situation. Whatever the case may be, you might be doing time with the state and you got these charges stacked up, or credit debt, or whatever the case may be. We're all doing time, but in a kind of way, everybody's out here fighting a battle, bro.
Yeah,
everybody's out here fighting a battle. So it's like, not to change the scope of what you do and who you do it for, but it's like, maybe somebody is fighting a battle, and they're not maybe a decorated military veteran, but they are fighting battles every day, and they could probably use some of this special sauce that we're sharing. You know what I mean? In terms of what you can do for yourself and for others, and how sometimes it takes you, stepping out of yourself and doing things for others to heal yourself, right? That can be healing in and of itself, right? To show that you're actually making a difference in this world, that you are of value, right? And I'm only saying this to say, like, if anybody's watching this, especially namely our military veterans, is there a way that they can connect with you? And,
absolutely.
And potentially hear more about the pledge, or just things that, a lifeline, so to speak.
If you jump on social media, my Instagram is at Jaguahh, JAGUAHH_, and I post on my stories regularly with any events that I'm tied into with any of these events, and it's all alternative wellness. It's all healing modalities. Like, and these events, it's not just like, the way I see it, it's, bringing veterans together, but it's also, like I said, it's for the community, and it's like bringing the community together, anybody that's fighting a battle. So it's like, even if you're not a veteran and you want to take the pledge, like, by all means.
See, I love that, bro. I didn't want to say that you, but I love that.
Though. Yeah. It's this is a community of warriors. We're all warriors. If you resonate with the warrior spirit, take the pledge, like, and know that you have someone's got your back, and like, you can reach out, and that's what community is all about. And it's like, so the way that I see these events, it's I almost want to even say, like, what's the word, like, service warriors, like, not, being of service. Like, if you want a higher calling, and I think that's what you're just saying, like, when you take yourself out of the equation and want to serve others, like, it's very healing.
Yeah.
And like, when you find purpose, and then you find a community where everybody's kind of on that same wavelength of wanting to pour into community, dude, it's magic. It's healing.
And it can be life-saving, bro. For sure. I know that for a fact, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say this, like, I was on a pretty dark path in life, and learning to share what helped me stay afloat, stay focused, stay out of trouble, stay strong, not just physically, but like mentally, spiritually. Like, I turned that into a trade, you know what I mean? And it really, I was sharing this with somebody earlier today. Like, I don't mind getting a little bit vulnerable on this show. I've done it plenty in the past, but bro, like, I remember when I finally got the gig that I wanted, right? And it wasn't like life changing money or anything, but it's what I wanted to do. It's what I worked so hard to do, bro. Like I got certified in prison for my trainer certification, and I taught all these classes in prison, like all these classes. And I built this resume for years, and I went to different institutions. And every institution I get in and get right into the rec department, and I started helping other people, sharing what worked for me. But then I thought for sure, man, I got out. I was so confident, bro. You never saw a convict that just did all this time so fucking confident and ready, you know. But bro, every single place I went, door closed in my face, door closed in my face, door closed in my face. Everything went great until I had to show them the piece of paper that said I was living at a halfway house, and I had to sign the piece of paper, and then have the fucking asshole tech call them and be like, yo, you know, was Michael really here? We need to make sure, because you know he's an inmate. He's still an inmate under the Bureau of Prison, BOP custody. You know what I mean? Like, it just looks like he's free. He's really still locked up. He's living with us. But was he there? Because we need to know if he was there. If he wasn't there, we need to know. Right? Yeah. And already they're like, I don't think we probably shouldn't hire this guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I went on like 100 times. But I'm only saying that to say when I finally got the gig, they were the only people that didn't ask. And then I had a homeboy that actually worked in HR. He's like a corporate guy now, like a big wig. But he was like, bro, don't give him the whole farm, bro. Just honesty all the time. You know what I mean? Because my whole thing is, I look at it like my stripes, bro. Like this made me this. If I didn't go through this, I wouldn't be this person that I am today. I wouldn't have these skills 100%. That I have today. Now they didn't do shit for me in there. The camaraderie did. The brothers did. Right. You know what I mean? And of course I did for myself through the choices I make, what I chose to feed. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so, but I'm only saying that to say, when I finally got the gig that I worked so fucking hard for, like I had to fight tooth and nail for that gig. But they didn't care about my background. They didn't care about my history. It was all about show up and show the fuck out. And I showed up and showed out time after time after time. And I still wasn't good enough. I had to get better and better and better and better. Like it was like almost a year process, right? I almost gave up. I even had other people saying, man, they ain't even giving you the time of the day. You need to let it go, bro. But it's what I wanted. It's what I wanted. So when I finally got it, bro, I can't tell you how, bro, I used to cry, bro. I used to cry like a crazy person, just tears all in my face, driving to work. But I finally got what I wanted. But I wasn't crying because I was sad, bro. Right. I was crying because holy shit, bro, I was just taking 8 city buses a day. And before that, I didn't think I was ever going to see the light of day, bro. When you're in there for that amount of time, you don't think you're going to make it out. All these things are happening in the world. You see the news, oh, we're all going to be dead. There is going to be no world. I'm going to die in here. You know what I'm saying? So to see that not only did I make it out, then I make it to the halfway house, and then I make it, you know, to just to have any job, you know, and I'm catching all these city buses. Next thing you know, I'm driving my own car. You know what I mean? You know, and I could have easily jumped back and did all the other dumb shit that I did that put me in there, but I didn't. Right? And it's like most people I knew did. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, but there's something to be said. So, and I'm only sharing that story, like, if you know, if you could help someone achieve that feeling, you know what I mean, of being of service, of seeing that like I'm actually of value, I actually have something to offer, you know, other than drugs and whatever, you know what I mean, dude? Dude, thanks for sharing, by the way. That's freaking warrior. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, bro. But I mean, I'm just I could see what you're doing, being a lifeline. Everybody doesn't know how to. Everybody's not fucking capable of pulling themselves up out of bootstraps and picking them, like they say, pick yourself up. Everybody's not capable of that, bro. It's so sad, bro. Like I can't tell you. I could sit here and go on and on and on about all these homies that I fucking lost because it became too heavy. The pressure of being a male, the pressure to provide, to be all these things to all these people and never show weakness. And you know what I mean? It's like it's too much for the strongest man. Yeah. Let alone somebody that may have, you know, not have that strength, bro. Right. You know what I mean? We're not all built the same. Yeah. You know, but if you could offer that to somebody and provide that and give them that sense of, you know, value and worth, even just saying, hey, look, come talk to people, tell your story, and you know, help people, like, you know, not check out before they should. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just give them a space, where they feel seen. Feel seen, feel heard, and like empowered. You know, that's something that's the whole we do. We like to you know, round robin with the mic. It's the mic's the talking stick. You know, hey, you want to share? Like, I did an informal event where I showcased some of my music, and then, you know, afterward or before I played, I shared a lot of my story with the military, with homelessness, with, you know, depression, with crippling anxiety, with like suicidal thoughts, homicidal thoughts, and like
just feeling super lost. And then, you know, opening that up, I think doing that on stage and then playing music, and then we did a round robin where we actually like sat together in a circle, and everybody, you know, I was like, you know, let's hear your story. And people they were empowered. They wanted to share because of that, you know, that modeling of like, and I think, you know, you said you would cry. It's like, I think a lot of men struggle with being vulnerable, and like something that I like to model is vulnerability is strength. And it's like, you know, sometimes when I'm playing music, I just bust out into tears, like, and it's just like, you just overcome. And a lot of that's just, you know, whatever's coming through, or, you know, sharing a story and just having that breakdown. It's like, no, it's okay. Like, you need to release that. You need to feel it. And I think a lot of people get like dissociated. They don't, it's like you said, it's so heavy. It's so overwhelming. They don't know what to do with it. And like, I think creating that space where people feel safe to be vulnerable, they feel safe to talk about the things, but like in a space of growth where it's like, hey, these things have happened. What are we doing next to change the situation? Because it's like hearing your story. It's like that's amazing, dude. You're not choosing to stay in that. You're choosing to better yourself. You're choosing to choose purpose and mission, and you're being guided by this vision. That's beautiful, man. Like, it's everything.
I appreciate that, bro.
That's awesome.
I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
I mean, well, you know, and I see the same in what you, because when we were doing our off-camera podcast and you were telling me, man, I have this vision. I don't know, like, I can't really explain it, and I don't think anyone would understand it, but I have this vision and I'm working to that vision. Yeah. You don't know how I could relate to that. Like, everything that you see right now, this has been this vision, and this has been a vision that I've had since like a child, not to podcast, but to share. Right. Nice. And it's like, and then to also create a platform or a safe space for other people to be able to share. Yeah. Right. And of course, mine's built around music. Right. But now we live in this oversaturated world where it's like, I made a post recently online about how, like, you know, we're so overstimulated that we don't see value in, we don't even recognize value, and it's right in our face. Yeah. We're so overstimulated. Dude. So it's like, well, and so like, I think having conversations around the music can kind of help peek through the static, if that makes sense. Because now we're not just some, you know, run-of-the-mill song, right? Like, there's a story behind this. These are lives. This is energy. This is, you know what I mean? Like, this is spirit. You know what I mean? Like all of the above, bro. You know, and that's what's cool about, you know, but I'm not saying that to say that's how my vision, it only evolved, right? Yeah. And it's incredible when you stick with a vision and you follow and you're in your purpose and you stick with what resonates. How suddenly it's magic, bro. It's magic. Like, when you commit to something. And you stick with that commitment through discomfort and doubt and insecurity and everything else that not a single one of us are safe from. I don't care how confident they want to pretend to be or appear to be, right? In all of their even pompous arrogance, right? Some people, right? There's always going to be that doubt. There's always going to be that insecurity, but it's about committing through that, right? When you commit, then suddenly, you know, it's like this... it's like this whole universe unfolds. All these possibilities start to unfold, right?
Yeah, totally, dude. Like those moments of like imposter syndrome and self-doubt, and it's a part of the process. Yeah. And it's like it's I mean, it's life. It's like, it's rhythm. Like, you go through, you keep, and if you're walking in vision, you're going to, it's evolution. Like, you're going to have these highs, these milestones where something that you envision comes to fruition. You're looking around like, holy cow, the dream's living. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. And there's going to be other times where you know, have those moments where you feel like you're spiraling, like, what, you know, self-doubt, have those moments where you lose the confidence, but that's part of it, because it's, you're constantly pushing the envelope, and like growing, and putting yourself in discomfort. And I think that's that's what makes us warriors, man. It's like that's the warrior spirit. It's going into the arena and just going to war.
Yeah.
It's like, I made a post recently, the war of art.
Have you read that book?
I haven't, but
bro, have you heard of it?
I have, yeah.
Oh, bro.
I need to, yeah.
Go ahead, bro. I didn't mean to interrupt. That book is dope. The War of Art. Yeah.
Well, it's like the process. Some of the stuff that I'll post content wise, like videos. I'll dance butt naked with a sock on my junk, just to put it out there. I
ain't knocking you, bro.
It's like those moments where I'm feeling doubt. I'm feeling but I do that to push myself through it and express and do it in an artistic way.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, cool, and keep momentum.
Yeah.
For me, it's like I like momentum, and even if it's some bullshit post where it's just like, yeah, whatever, we're doing this, but it's like it keeps me in my lane creatively. It keeps me in that warrior spirit of
and you're doing that for you. You're not doing that for anybody else. You're not doing that for any clout. You're doing that for you because you felt like, you know what, I'm feeling a little funny right now. I've done similar things. All of a sudden, and it's crazy, bro. Because I'll do some refined content, like a music video that took us fucking 6 months to do. Spend all this money, all these hours, countless hours, staying up all night, and then we drop it and it gets 7 views. Right? And then I fucking am going through all this turmoil, all this self doubt, just like fucking. Feeling like I'm just this total fucking reject failure, all this, you know what I mean, shit. Yeah. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of feeling myself. I'm gonna just, or maybe I'm not feeling myself. I'm just like, I'm gonna do something, and then I'll do a freestyle or whatever, and then I'll drop it, and it was really low quality, bad lighting, right, and I'm not even I just one take, boom, bam. It's and all of a sudden you get the notification, your reel hit 500 views, and it's like. That? I'm almost a little bit embarrassed. But then I'm like, oh, but you know what? It was authentic.
Yep.
It was real.
Yep.
And that's why it resonated. Not that anything else wasn't, but it's you worked so hard to make it so perfect. And it's why not just do?
That's interesting. That's what's the dude's name? Rick Rubin.
Yeah, I fuck with Rick Rubin.
Yeah, he said something. It's one of my ethos as an artist. It's don't play to the crowd. When I get into a really great flow on stage, it's when I'm dancing with myself.
Yes.
When I'm just up there, when
you're feeling yourself, because it's real.
Yes, I'm playing off the crowd's energy, but I'm not doing it necessarily for their approval or their validation. It's just oh, you're feeling it, good. So I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
And it's and then not focusing on the outcome either. I think that's another thing that he says is it's great art is not outcome driven. It's always unfolding. It's always it's always leaning in. You're always leaning into the process because it's well, shoot. Last night, it's so funny. I brought my loop station over to the neighbor's place because I haven't played in a little bit, and I was need to stretch my wings, and I have and this thing is my notepad, this loop station, because I have 90 tracks recorded over the last 8 months, and it's crazy because it's all these different experiences where they happened. One was out in the middle of nowhere in Idaho in a pasture, and there's a bunch of cows, and it's just me with some cows vibing. And
so there's a story to every single loop. That's dope.
And last night I was literally going through all the, one was I was a musical guest at a dance social for Brazilian Zouk, and I was making Brazilian Zouk timed tracks for folks to dance to, and it was oh, so it's been this this process, and even last night it was it's always unfolding. And it's we were talking about with the process. It's your creative process is an organic journal to yourself. And it's every expression is a journal entry. And it's and then when you revisit it, it's so funny because last night I was I'm a completely different version of myself, and I see my music totally different now, and this is all, and I think that's why I said earlier I haven't published anything yet because I'm still in that I've been in that incubation stage of seeing where and what and how, and it's okay, now that I've got a solid foundation of those experiences, I think this year that's the year of the fire horse. I feel like
Yes,
giddy
sir.
up, baby.
Yes,
Let's go.
giddy up. Yes, I'm feeling that too, for real. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, and it's crazy because it's February 17th, but I'm starting to feel already like a shift energetically, right?
Dude,
and a
same.
charge.
Same.
You know what I mean? And it's even been through experiences like some little fiery things here and there. You know, right? And not super negative, but how I responded could have changed everything,
Dude,
right?
That's the truth. Last week I crashed my car, and dude, talk about like watching myself in this like art of detachment. It was just like, all right, giddy up. Like,
Yeah.
what? It was wild.
Yeah.
Like it was very calm, very, all right, no reaction, just observation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I made a post recently about reactivity. That's something that I think can help a lot of folks with like fear-based behavior, is creating space for yourself in your reactions, because when you react, it's usually a pattern that you're still so if you can create space and become more conscious in your response, so it's like changing from react to a conscious response.
Yes.
And that space is really the exercise of getting to that space of being more consciously aware of how you are showing up. So it's like noticing when you're reacting, and then choosing to even take a breath. Like you can pause and be like, okay, and then that distance that you create helps you see yourself, and then create new ways of how you respond.
Bro, that's what you're talking about. Like, that's something that I struggle with, and I've been working on it. Just like nervous system regulation, right? Because ultimately, what are reactions? It's an unregulated nervous system, bro. It's a knee-jerk reaction, right? You could be so regulated and so chill, but all of a sudden that trigger comes, and like what? Like, you know what I mean? Like I was saying, for me, it was a hat. It's like you said I could wear the hat. What the fuck you mean? You said I could wear that. Now I'm like, whoa. Chill out, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a fucking hat.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, but it's the principle. I was disrespected. You're calling me a liar, this and that. Right? Like, this is a true story. I had you know what I mean? And it's like, but who was really wrong? Like, maybe both of us. But I'm in control, or at least I should be at all times.
Yeah.
There's no reason that I should ever be called, anything that I'm not. Right? If I wasn't actually displaying some of that, right? So then it's like, do I check the person for triggering the response, or do I check myself for reacting and not consciously responding?
You check yourself.
You're right.
Check
There we
yourself.
have it. Yes.
Yeah, and it's that self check. It's shoot, where was I going with that? Yeah, being able to like notice yourself. I think that's huge, man. Being able to notice when you are reacting, because it's like I've even received reflections. They'll be like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm just breathing." Like I'll literally, like, it's something I work on. Like I work on when I notice I'm about to. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, chilling.
Yeah.
Like I'm working on my. This is your journey.
Regulating.
This is my.
Regulating.
This is your journey. You can navigate it how you will, and if you're working toward progress, and you gotta take a chapter where you look like a lunatic, taking big breaths, whatever.
Oh, bro, I've had plenty of chapters where I looked like a lunatic, but honestly, those are the chapters that did the most for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like when people were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
But then later on, they're like, "Wait a minute. Can how did you do that? Or what? Can you chill me? You know what I mean?"
Dude,
like,
that's it. You seem crazy until it works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I never have a problem, and I teach my son that. Like, listen, don't always feel like you got to do what everybody else is doing, right? Because he's at that age where, but they do it. Yeah, but do you really want to do what everybody else does, right? Like, and then we'll watch movies where everybody's like kind of being a jerk, like they're being a bully or whatever. And it's like, see, do you want to be like that? Do you want to follow everybody else, or do you want to be, you want to be different? And
that's
maybe,
awesome. Yeah.
Think for yourself. It's just conversations that I have with my
dude. That's great
child.
guidance, man. Heck yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I know I got a lot to learn as a parent, from my child more than anything. But it's like I work really, really hard on, being everything to him that like I didn't have. Not that I was like totally neglected. I love my parents, and I thought they were pretty amazing. But I mean, no, they weren't perfect. Nobody is, and it's like if I can be conscious and reflect on things that maybe weren't ideal in my upbringing and maybe weren't ideal for my confidence, my growth and development, right? If I can be aware and try to, instill those things into my child and be that person that maybe wasn't present for me. You know what I mean? Like that's the most important. Sure, like this is purpose and all of that, but the ultimate purpose is like, who am I raising? And what kind of an adult are they going to grow up to be? Dude, you know what I mean? Because ultimately, you know what I mean? Like that.
Dude, that's beautiful, man.
I mean, but this is life struggle legacy. I mean, what more legacy is there than being, And I feel like even people who like maybe aren't that purpose driven and maybe don't have like this hold on or this grasp of like what their life purpose is. I mean, if they are parents, love their children, and want to be good parents, that's legacy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And like that off camera podcast we did in the drive here, just listening to your story, like very intentional. Like being a parent, that's what it is, man. It's like a full-time intentional journey, and you're showing up for it. So it's awesome.
I appreciate that, brother.
Oh, yeah.
So let's dive into more of what you offer. I don't want I talk all the time on the show. I want to get into what you offer with music, right?
Yeah.
What, maybe something that you could offer in terms of any services that you provide. If anybody wanted to maybe book you for a gig, maybe one of those super dope classes or a workshop. Like let's dive into what you offer the public, any services for. Right, and then how let's just promote yourself, bro. And with now anything that you got cooking now, I always like to kind of give you this disclosure. This episode is gonna there's some I got a few in the pipeline, so it's not gonna come out for probably a couple months. Yeah. Right. So just be aware when you're telling them you're promoting. If you're like, oh, I'm gonna be wherever next week, chances are next week already happened by the time they see this. You know what I mean? So I don't want to make you aware before you go into promo mode. But I would love for you to promote yourself. Any call to action that you have for the people. Like these people, they lock in. They really. They want to know about you and figure out how they can connect with you. So.
Well, I appreciate the leaning, folks. Leaning in. Well, that's difficult. So a couple months, man. I'll be a different version of Jaguahh by then, but
but let them know where they can find you, bro.
But we'll if you jump on again, my primary platform's on Instagram, that Jaguahh JAGUAHH_. That's where I post all my content. I post all the events that I'm a part of, and then you can DM me on there and connect. And as far as booking any shows, I'm open to doing performances. And then the workshop. So if you have any space where I could do embodied movement, conscious functional movement workshop, I'm open to that as well. That's honestly still cooking.
Yeah.
That's something that's really honestly just kind of taken fruition in the last couple months.
I think that's super dope though, and hopefully we can make some connections here.
That'd be great
for you with that.
That'd be great.
And for someone else with you,
Yeah, and also just collaboration. Any other artists out there who want to collaborate and do any kind of, like I do dance, I do cinematography. So I'm open to all kind. I love the creative flow, and this year I'm very much open to collaborating. And yeah, really with what I see, big picture with my performances is it's very much immersive. So really getting like the sensory overload. Like what I envision is having other performers, so like flow artists or circus arts, people hanging from the ceilings. It's like Cirque du Soleil, sensory overload. So like playing these shows, but having a lot of things going on that's like, just very expansive, very immersive, getting the crowd involved as well with the loops, and just making it's like, I talk about like becoming the music. One of my recent events, that's what I marketed it as. I just had this like it came through of like, all right, I really do. I want everyone to feel involved in some way, shape, or form, and that's really my goal with it, is to create that connection. Like, I want people to feel like they're a part of the music, and for me, it's shaping culture. So and I'm again, it's always unfolding, and I'm very, very excited this year to see what comes through. Like what kind of if I decide to record an album, I don't know, but I'm very optimistic, very, very open, and super stoked for this year, the Fire Horse.
Same, brother. Same. I'm excited to see what you got cooking. I'm
dude.
excited to cook.
Yeah.
And see what we could cook together,
Yeah.
man. So like, on that note, I know you got a lot of wisdom, bro, and you got you have substance, right? Some people talk, but you have substance. When you talk, there's definitely, you have a message, right? So you got these people, they're leaned in right now, bro.
Yeah.
Do you have any message that you want to share? And I always like to ask also every guest, like, what's legacy mean to you, and what message do you want to leave, with this platform today?
Legacy for me means, all my heroes are people who, the artistic craft is just a vessel of creation, and it's about bringing people together. And all throughout history, all the greats, it was a movement. It brings people. Music brings people together. It's a universal language. Everybody feels it. It's a feeling. And for me, legacy artists, it's not necessarily, again, it's not about the cloud. It's not about even the money for me. It's literally about shaping culture and creating positive ways of change. And like, I think bridging artistry with advocacy, and like promoting alternative wellness, promoting spaces where people can find solace in the chaos, and really connect and truly feel a part of something. I think that's what I see, and that's what I yearn to create.
Man, you came to the right space, brother. You are speaking our language. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and then you're in Benton Media Lounge, bro. Angel's always cooking, doing like exactly what you're saying, connecting with people for a cause, bridging the gap, shifting the culture, right? That's a beautiful thing, man. So thank you so much for sharing your story, your life experience, your energy with this platform, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. And man, if you have questions for Jaguahh, please drop them in the comments, start the conversation, and make sure, and it's Jaguah.
Double H.
Double H.
Emphasis on the exhale.
Yeah, Jaguah. AHH, right?
Underscore,
yeah. Okay, bet. Yeah, underscore after the HH.
Yep.
Okay, bet.
Yeah.
Okay, so make sure y'all check him out, connect, and listen. If you're going through something, this man's been through some things, and he might have some modalities that can help you. So definitely check out Jaguahh. Thank you so much for sharing.
Dude, thanks for having me. I'm grateful to be here.
Been a pleasure, brother.
Such an honor. Appreciate it, brother.
It's Live Struggle Legacy. I appreciate y'all checking in. If you haven't already done so, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, notification button, drop a comment, ask Jaguahh a question. If you're listening on a streaming platform, please make sure you hit the follow button, download, save, rate us. And if you're looking to promote your business, holla at me. We're looking for sponsors. Please be sure to check out the Live Struggle Legacy website for all the latest news, music, and merch. I appreciate y'all checking in. This Live Struggle Legacy. What we doing, Angel?
We building pyramids.
Yes, sir.
At Autism Acceptance All Stars, it's more than awareness, it's action. When you sign up at the AAAS.org, you join a movement for acceptance, inclusion, and real impact. Don't miss our Memories Delivered program. We bring professional photographers right to the homes of autism families, capturing genuine moments in the comfort of their own space. Becoming an All-Star is free, but the difference you make is priceless. Visit the AAAS.org today. Be seen, be heard, be an all-star. If you'd like to promote your business on the show, please DM us for sponsorship opportunities. Thanks for tuning in. We out. Live Struggle Legacy. It's a whole movement.